I'm from Edo State, and my production crew, I do hear that Israel is from Ondo State, Ishaya is from Kaduna State, Peter says he's from Zamfara State, my producer is from Niger State, and so are my other colleagues, all of us from different states in the Federation. Nigeria comprises 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. And many of us know what happens at the federal government level, perhaps at the state level, but how many of us know what's happening in our communities? Way back, during the holidays, secondary school, perhaps a bit in the tertiary institutions, we used to visit home. We used to know what our neighbors were doing. We used to go to the market. We used to go for dances and other ceremonies. We used to know who our local government chairperson was, whether he was male or whether she was female. We used to know their plans for the community, for the village, and how it will impact us, our families, and everyone in general. Nowadays, everyone is focused at the center. If you want to know a bit more about what's happening, how to get started from the grassroots, you are in the right place. Today on Weekend Deal, we're going to be focusing on entrenching grassroots democracy in Nigeria for you, so you can pay particular attention to what's happening at home. Where you come from in Nigeria. My name is Thelma Obaze. We say welcome. And we have guests who will throw more light on this. It's time to join Ifoma Ojinta for the morning news. When we come back, Weekend Deal, entrenching grassroots democracy, and you are a very important and critical part of entrenching that successfully. Well, Francis did some research. It's going to focus on local government areas. How much autonomy do they have? And were they to become autonomous like Algon has been talking about, will they be accountable? Francis, take us through what you found.
As the 2023 election draws closer, some Nigerians have declared their intention to vie for various positions, and more still will declare their intentions as the days go by. But one wonders why there is so much attention and interest on who becomes Nigeria's next president.
If you look at the main parties, PDP and APC, their nomination forms, this one is 100 million, the other one is 40 million. It's a lot of money, and that was pegged at those prices to stop people. But still, many people are turning up to pick the forms. So if we had not been fixed at such high amount, maybe a lot of it would have been a crowd. So people have seen that being the president of Nigeria is not really a silver bullet. So people, citizens of this country, who feel they have a solution to profile are bringing themselves out. But the fact that you indicated interest does not mean you become president. So, but let everybody come forward and let's have opportunity to hear them out. So I wouldn't say it's a bad omen for Nigeria. It's good that many Nigerians are interested in coming forward with a solution.
As the political scene becomes more interesting with more Nigerians declaring to become Nigeria's president, are the electorate also keeping an eye at the state and local governments? How well do they know the aspirant contesting to become their councillors and chairmen?
People do not come to the local government and council because there aren't much. Because the way Nigeria is now, you cannot solve Nigerian problem from the state. You cannot also solve it from the local government. We have a system that has designed local government to be effective. But unfortunately, people who run it have started to make it ineffective. So that is why so many people don't look there, don't look at that direction. And moreover, What are you going to local government to do when governors have reduced the tenure? Governors enjoy 4 years and then go for re-election. But now, in fact, most local governments, when they do election, it's just 2 years. And governors do it, many governors do it, when they are leaving office. Then the next governor comes, he dissolves it, and they start going to court. They spend 2 years going to court. Then, by the time that governor is also going out, he does his own election and makes it 2 years.
The cardinal objective for the establishment of the local government system in Nigeria is to bring democratic governance to the local citizens through proper political education and socialization that will empower them to effectively participate in grassroots democracy and governance.
The local government is the closest government to you. If you go to Amak in Abuja, very effective, people still go there. Maybe because Amak is in an urban, well-developed area like Abuja. But if you go to the rural settings, people mostly come to those local government headquarters when they are paying salaries, when it's time to pay salaries, or maybe there is something that will give immediate return. Other than that, the system is as good as in a state of hibernation until when money comes. So generally nothing happens. We have also seen local government work in the past. We have also seen local government had autonomy. But the thing is that autonomy goes with accountability. You don't talk about autonomy without accountability. It will not work. It becomes tyranny. Tyrannical local government chairmen, they abused a lot of things, and at times you find they were also in fisticuffs with the executive governors of their states. So these governors decided to maybe possibly reduce these internal wranglings. There was an autonomy that was started for local governments, be their own mini government. But did they end up being effective as they should? There was so much corruption, there was so much stealing.
One of the components of democracy is election. However, election at the local government level in Nigeria has been relegated to the background, whereby its processes, conduct and outcome are often at the mercy of the state's ruling parties and their governors.
They don't do election. Those things they do is not election, they do selection. They ask people to come, then they write the results, and those results are announced. Have you seen anybody bothering to go to court to challenge elections at the local level when they do all sorts of things? If you want, go to the governor. I'm interested. Tell me if I should go, if I should buy form. So when they do local government elections, the governors don't want surprises. They don't want unintended benefits or consequences. Let me use the word consequences. So they try to structure it. It's structured. They structured it so that they get who they want. So that when they give instruction, nobody queries it.
Despite the vantage positions of the local government for effective and efficient service delivery at the local level, it has failed to perform to expectations in grassroots development across the country.
If our election has integrity, nobody can be able to determine who emerges. But have a system where some people will sit in their homes and determine who emerges. If you want to get local government working, make sure that who comes to manage the local government should not be a stooge of His Excellency, but rather somebody who emerged from a political process that was vibrant, that was dynamic, that was transparent, that has integrity, and that was inclusive.
Democracy has been adjudged the world's most accepted system of government. Weekend Deal today is captioned "Entrenching Grassroots Politics in Nigeria." Weekend Deal.
Thank you, Francis, for setting the tone for our conversation today. You've opened the doors very wide, and we invite everyone to walk in. You can walk in by being a part of the program, by letting us know what your thoughts are with regard to entrenching grassroots democracy. We'll be talking with Honorable Abdullahi Adamu Candido. Many of you know him, Executive Chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC.
Good morning, Telma. Good morning, Nigerians.
And for what we've come to know, he's an example, a very typical example of grassroots democracy. But tell us, how well positioned have you been at the grassroots level?
Telma, I think as far as local administration is concerned, and I think I stand tall as a better reference point. One, my political career all began or start with local councils. And from the ward level, indeed, I was elected ward councillor. And I served for 5.5 years as a councillor, representing the good people of my ward in a local council. So you can agree with me that, of course, from that point of experience, I'm a better reference point. 2, within the context of the service as an elected councillor, I again was appointed a supervisory councillor at that local government chapter. And so local government supervisory councillors are just like what you have as ministers in the Federal Executive Council or commissioners at the State Executive Council. I served as a supervisory councillor, that is a political head of a department within the area council. So indeed, that is to tell you that whatever infrastructure, whatever things happening within the local councils, I have it all because I have seen part of it. And then I grew again from being a supervisory councillor to becoming a council secretary, all within the local government.
Were you elected or appointed?
Appointed this time around. The first to be elected was as a councillor, but appointments now are the supervisory councillor and of course later in life as a council secretary. And I served as council secretary of Abuja Municipal Area Council for 2.5 years. All right, and then thereafter, I did not stop there. The last 6 years has seen me as council chairman, local government council chairman. So you can see I'm a good model, I'm a good example, I'm a good reference point as far as local administration is concerned, because this is where 99% of Nigerians or domicile live. And this is where the government is supposed to focus attention, because that is where, you have, all that it takes as far as manpower of people are concerned, as far as infrastructural developmental needs are concerned. These are all within the local council. Whatever you do at the state level or federal government level is, something else. But where the people dominate,
This should be the platform.
this is the platform for everything.
But is that what is happening now? Let's look at what's happening in other parts of Nigeria. How vital, how well positioned are the local government areas? Let's talk about the chairperson and even the people. Are they getting the dividends of democracy?
Well,
Do the local government chairmen have access to required funds to be able to make a difference in the lives of their people?
well, I think it varies. The local council system has not gotten the best attention, quote unquote, as is expected to be nationally, because they have reduced. Local governments are being reduced to, councils to be monitored, to be supervised by state administration. That is what the Constitution defines, right? But we in the Federal Capital Territory, I think, scholars and researchers can have a better findings and results, okay, in their research of how are local governments faring, how are the people also faring as a result of the services given by local councils. Because here in the Federal Capital Territory, this is one area that the autonomy we're all talking about, is imminent here, right? The ministry that supervises the local councils, as far as Federal Capital Territory is concerned, do not have anything to do, okay? Don't have anything to do with the finances of local councils. I mean the area councils here. They have never taken a drop of a kobo from the coffers of local councils. It comes directly from the Federation allocation account. Of course,
That's in the FCT.
Yes, in the FCT. Of course, maybe it could be warehoused a little bit somewhere.
But it comes directly.
But it comes directly.
And you're able to utilize
and we
it.
get it direct, untouched, right? Unattended to, with not any, unnecessary hiccups as far as the FCT is concerned. So we must appreciate the local setting here. And of course, we also have to appreciate the National Assembly, because the Federal Capital Territory is not a state, and therefore our legislative assignments and responsibility rest squarely at the National Assembly. And so we get that support as well from the National Assembly.
Okay.
So as far as, research findings has shown, I think local government in the Federal Capital Territory are a better example of what can be seen from the point of service and whether the people are getting the service or not. Because if they don't get the service...
Go to the states now.
Yeah.
You are getting the service here.
Yeah.
You are getting it because the funds are coming
Yes.
as and at when due. From what we hear and from what some reports we showed today on our program, it's not being replicated nationwide.
Oh yes, of course.
As in, some governors are not making the funds available. They don't want the local government chairpersons or the local government areas to be autonomous. Is that working in tandem with the progress plan of the governors? Is it in the best interest of the people, in your own opinion?
If you
we need researchers to come from outside the country, come and tell us that it's not working?
Literally, if the answer to that question, whether is it in the best interest of the people, as far as what councils are passing through in state, of course the answer is no. It's not in the best interest of our people and of course the nation.
Why is it going on?
The reasons are that, for instance, I have said this severally. If you ask me to go for an election in states where this fair autonomy is not even achieved, there shouldn't be any reason for me to do that. Because as one who desires to serve the people, all right, and then the opportunity is not given, so what am I contesting for? So I have said it on this platform that there shouldn't be any reason for me to contest election in states where the local councils are gagged. They are not given free opportunity to really serve the people as is expected, because money coming from direct from the federation account is channeled again to be domiciled and warehoused somewhere, right? And then only for me to be called at the end of the month to say how much is your monthly,
something like piecemeal.
How much is your salary for this month, and then maybe you say your salary is about 30-40 million naira, and then it is given to you, and then a stipend of about 2 million, 3 million naira is again added for you to run the affairs of the council in that particular month. What do you expect me to do? I will go and now pay salary and then manage 2-3 billion naira as running cost for the secretariat.
But if it's not working well, why is this still going on? And when you meet with your colleagues from nationwide, what do you people discuss? What are they doing to change it?
That is an area where Nigerians must appreciate the current Nigerian president, President Muhammadu Buhari. He is an advocate of let the local councils live. Let the councils administration heave a sigh of relief. Let the people get the best of service. He is a better example of what support has the local councils gotten. And I think with what the president has done, with of course the support of the National Assembly, okay, from the the bill he sent to them for this autonomy, I think put together we must appreciate Nigeria's president. We must also appreciate the current Ninth Assembly of the National Assembly for standing tall to say, hey, this time around we must support the local councils, because whatever we require as far as governance is concerned, as far as services are expected to be given, it lies squarely at the local councils.
What we hear, is that even when the money gets to them, they are asked to return it back to the joint account.
I wouldn't speculate.
Okay.
I wouldn't also wish to say what I may not really defend.
Back up with facts.
But sincerely and very sincerely, what we hear from states, right, as far as our colleagues are passing through,
okay,
they are mere appendage.
Okay.
They are just ordinarily, appointees of Mr. Governor, okay, only preparing a kind of kangaroo election to suggest that the state also pass through electoral process as far as local councils are concerned. But in the real sense, there is no proper election that you can call election, because the chairmen are handcuffed.
They are handcuffed.
They don't operate. They don't serve the people as it is expected. Unlike FCT, I try to make this reference point in FCT because I'm a sitting chairman, and I can say it boldly that as far as local councils are concerned, I don't even need to speak out. The people are better witnesses whether I have performed or have not performed. I don't just grade road, I asphalt roads. Okay, I have given lots of communities electricity, just like states do. Certainly, some local councils in FCT can be compared to, as far as performance rating is concerned, can be compared to certain states because we are bold. We have the resources a little bit given to us, untouched by the FCT ministry, and we are.
You are able to utilize it and make a difference in the lives of the
We
people.
have a democracy working. In Amak, for instance, I have councillors that sit to ensure that they legislate, they oversight, they go to see what we are doing. If we pretend to have done one or two things as far as infrastructure is concerned, they go to ensure that it is properly in place.
And if it's not done,
if it is not, they checkmate the excesses
Okay.
of that chairman.
Okay.
That is proper democracy as far as local council administration is concerned.
It is our hope that this will be replicated nationwide, because if you are saying this here in the FCT and the other states are not saying the same thing, it's like everything is not working smoothly.
Sincerely.
It's like we're not working in unison. Also, we also hear that even in some states, local government elections have not been conducted for years. So we don't know. Okay, we now hear is caretaker chairman heading the local government areas. It's very touching.
It's an unfortunate situation that we are not getting it right.
It's touching.
If we miss local administration, right, then we have missed 90% of what the people desired.
But if we're not informing them and emboldening them and equipping them, we're missing it.
Sincere, that is what I'm also trying to point out. That if you refuse to allow democracy takes its course at the local council, then you have denied the people the right to make a choice of who leads them. For you to become a councillor representing about maybe 100 communities in a government setting, right, you need to allow the people have access to make a choice on who leads them or who represents them in a council administration. Here, when you don't organize the election, then you just appoint maybe caretaker chairman. The caretaker chairman, like I told you, is just maybe a political boy to the governor, right? And if he does not,
it's not being fine-tuned.
That is it. So we must entrench democracy beginning from the local council administration so that we can get it right. Because, for instance,
but who is going to make that happen? How can it happen?
The people should advocate, and the government should listen. If you don't advocate and you did not checkmate the excess of government, you need to. You see, every government setting need to be pushed
but
to
Algon
understand
has
that.
Been speaking. Is it that the language is Algon speaking a foreign language? Is it that they are not communicating effectively with those at the helm at these different state levels?
Let the people advocate further. We have civil societies organizations, we have NGOs, we have Nigerians. Come on, you must not just keep quiet and remain docile. You must speak out to say we need representation.
What they ought to have.
Sincerely, that is exactly what we are passing through. People must speak out to say this is what we want and it must be given to us. Without recourse to fighting, to unnecessary violence, make your case known and the people will listen. And the government is a listening government, particularly this government. As far as local government is concerned, Mr. President is standing tall to defend the rights and privileges of local administration.
Okay, so perhaps the CSO should speak louder. Nigerians, you need to say what you need at the local level. And perhaps that's why this conversation is so timely. Many Nigerians don't even know what they ought to have at the local government level. They don't even know. They don't even know what ought to be there, because many people don't have access to Abuja, what is happening. But thankfully, the NTA can send this worldwide and they can begin to realize what it ought to be.
Exactly.
And perhaps begin to push for it. We're getting some messages. Perhaps I should take a lead to. Tony is reaching us from Asaba Delta State. He's a regular contributor on Weekend Deal. It says that the local government administration has failed in delivering on its core mandate because of the direct grip by governors of states who want to hold on to large chunks of the local government funds for uses best known to them. FCT councils are models for local government administration.
Yes, of course, we are.
So it's working for you.
We are a model.
Our focus now is on those who it's not working for. We thank you for what you have been able to achieve, but we need to spotlight those areas where it's not working and remind them.
It is expected of the citizens in such states to rise up, wake up from their sleep, okay, get determined that the governor of your state is not an emperor, okay? The state does not belong to him. It belongs to you, the citizens of that state. And so you must speak out. You get my point? If you allow a governor who you have mandated to lead you, If you allow a governor who you have mandated to leave you for a chunk of 4 years to now become a master instead of a servant, then you are lost.
Okay.
So you must speak out to his sense of reasoning that you are only here for a little while to serve us.
Okay.
And so you must listen to us. You must not be an emperor over your people that gave you a mandate. You are not their king. You are their servant. That must be emphasized. The citizens must rise up, must wake up from their slumber.
Interesting.
You understand my point? And if, for instance,
So
if
the person at the helm is a servant.
he's
to
a
the
servant,
people.
you are not. What are you? You are governing the people. Who gave you the mandate?
The people.
Did you sit for an exam? They elected you, and having elected you, it means you are only representing an interest. Protecting, expected of you is to protect them, to defend them, to provide services for them. You are not a lord. You are not to lord over yourself on them. They are your masters. You are their servant. So the people must speak out, must be ready to now say, gentlemen, haven't elected you as a governor, provide this for us. Gentlemen, we now want to have a fair local government election in our state. Okay? And that we are no longer interested in having your appendages as caretaker, chairman, or sole administrator. So we don't need that. Gone are those days. We need development rapidly. And these are even reasons why all these criminalities are the order of the day today. If local councils are functioning, one, you have reduced the level of influx of villagers down to the main city, okay? Because development is there. If I'm watching development start stride of my state, okay, in my remote area, because there is light there, I don't need to come to the town to say, because I don't have light in my community, so let me go to the town. There should be reason why I should do one or two little businesses within the comfort of my local community. Okay. Because services are rendered there. But if there are none, then you see influx of people moving. And then the insecurity and what have you, criminality, thuggery, all that, all the
because of the inadequacy at the local levels. Okay, I have this question, and someone is asking, how much do you receive monthly from FAC? And we know that okay, they say honorable. Are you an honorable already?
Well, I'm a honorable chairman.
Okay, honorable is vying for the House of Representatives. They say, why do you think you merit a seat such as that? That will be our last question.
Well, the people should be the best respondents in this case. My people in Abuja Municipal Council haven't tested me this last 6 years. I have better testimony to know whether I'm qualified to go for the next, assignment. I have, sacrificed my time. I want to let you know that since since I came into the office as chairman, okay, I have never taken the fullest of salary for 6 years.
What have you been given?
Okay, half of my salary goes to the vulnerables, and it's there. It can be it's there and recorded. The documents are there. Okay, half of my salary goes there. Then the tremendous service I have rendered, I have conceptualized certain things, innovations in local government. No, I'm not just creating borehole to give poor people water. This is the only council that I led that for the first time in history have put in place a company of its own. We call that AMAC Property and Development Company, AMAC IPDC. We have a microfinance. We do business. We do business with the outside world. Okay? We have built markets through this company. This is a council project. This is a council asset. As I leave now, the property remains and they continue doing business. We have AMAC Microfinance Bank. My AMAC Microfinance Bank today has a capital of over 600 million naira, and we have touched the life of over 4,000 people by giving them loans. Okay, we have established AMAC Community Radio, well licensed, and it's on air for the first time in the history of this nation. A local council operating its own.
How is it impacting the people?
It's impacting on the people because we get feedback of what they want, and they hear from us what the government is doing. Okay, we sensitize them, we enlighten them, we educate them, we let them know what the government is passing through. You understand my point? I have also established a gifted school, an ICT center. These are new concepts. These are new ideas. I have also in place AMAC Marshall Guard. These are private guards that are, they are nosediving into the local communities, getting information of criminalities, reporting this criminality to the conventional police, conventional agencies of security, and they're managing security so that we can go to sleep
create a safer
without
FCT for everybody.
Exactly.
We want to say thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. We want to continue to encourage your colleagues as you meet with them in the short time that is left, that they continue to encourage their people to push so that they get the resources that they need.
And
so
this
that,
must be done
local
peacefully. This must be done peacefully. Nigerian can achieve all they want with no violence.
Peacefully but consistently.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Abdullahi Adamu Candido, Executive Chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council. We want to thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Thelma.
Thank you for shedding more light on what we're doing on the show today. Another break beckons. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
We are watching Weekend Deal. We go to Sokoto now to know about grassroots politics and emerging candidates.
Nigerians elect new leaders every 4 years. And as the 2023 election preparations commences, expectations and excitements are high among the electorates. This time around, many aspirants vying for different political posts have already indicated their interest to their respective political parties.
Most of the aspirants, especially in the state here, I can say that there is no even the so-called Abuja politicians. Most of them are grassroots politicians, but that they only know them as politicians, but not as having or understanding their manifesto. What are they going to do? Even the politicians themselves do not have such defined agendas.
We'll have that awareness regarding those people that are buying forms and so on. But the enthusiasm certainly is not there.
You can see how it has reversed. The politicians have high spirit in participation, the electorate have low spirit in participation.
While some aspirants are for the first time, most of them have already been tested. This has provided a yardstick for which electorates can assess them and may influence votes in their favor.
Everyone has his own opinion, isn't it? Some may trust others, some may deny others.
The crop of the people that are looking for leadership now, they are not supposed to be there in the first place. They don't have the moral rectitude. They are not even up to the task of governance.
You trust all of them, and as well, you cannot say you don't trust all of them. How can you trust them is based on what they have served the nation. You look at the offices they held earlier, you go through it and see what have they contributed to the nation and what has they done. Based on that, you can realize where to place your spot or not.
Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. This quote from Albert Einstein reflects the mindsets of many Nigerian electorates.
Nigeria's politics is very difficult to predict because it is built on sentiments, not ideology. So if you observe in all the parties, the main focus is not who can do it. The main focus is where does the next president come from, in place of who the next president should be. So it is the same thing with the electorate also. We are filled with sentiments that if a ticket is given to a particular section of the country, a particular set of people will turn around and see which party gives ticket to their own. And this is what is going on.
An important organ in determining credibility of election in democracy is the election process. But how confident are the electorates in Sokoto about the system?
I do not see any reason to question the integrity of the INEC. I am much more comfortable.
Of course, on paper it is good, but when it comes to implementation, we have seen many instances where people who are mandated to protect the electoral process compromise with politicians. Some are INEC staff Some are hard work staff, some are security personnel.
INEC has already laid down its procedures, and all those procedures are very transparent. They are honest, they are real, and they are accessible. But we, the masses, is that what we want? That is the question. All the rules and regulations that are into INEC are being violated by the masses. All the masses, not even the politicians themselves, not only, even the aspirants, not even the contestant, but we, the voters, we are the ones who violate all those rules and regulations.
Dr. Nura Bodinga conducted a research to determine whether present experience with the political environment will affect electorate's decision in the next election. And what Nura found was encouraging.
Most of the respondents I have from the researches I conducted, people are ready. People are ready to vote for all the individual or selective offices with equivalent emphasis in terms of character, in terms of competence with the president. Because before, the emphasis is more of once you have the president, you have the change. But now it shows that even if you have a competent president, you need a competent governor for you to benefit from the federal government initiative.
With upcoming 2023 elections looming over us, it has become necessary for the electorate to be much more hands-on and involved with their decision-making than ever before.
We now go to NTA Kaduna. We're still talking about entrenching politics at the grassroots.
Over the years, a conduct of local government election in Nigerian had been characterized with irregularities and misconduct, which hindered free and fair election at the local government level. This may be associated with the imposition of a candidate by a ruling political party in the states. Well, some believe that the State Independent Electoral Commission, which has the mandate of conducting local government election, is partisan in its responsibility.
On the issue of government using local government elections, or let me say SICOM, to perpetrate anomalies in the conduct of elections of local government. That is very correct. And I want to say before I continue that something urgent should be done about that. There's no need for state electoral body because they are being used by all sitting state governments all over the federation to suit their party and win such election 100% for their party, except where we have problems. Like in Kaduna State, we have problems. We still have some cases in the court in respect of the last conduct of the local government election in Kaduna State, where claims were made by the sitting government on winning some local government, and it's not true.
The issue of SICOM in Kaduna State, not in Kaduna State alone, is a case to be visited because SICOM as a body that conduct election is not viable and physically understood by state government. The essence of it is to give opportunity for the grassroots to do the right thing. But the state governments of many states use it as a way of fraud where they can manipulate the grassroots election.
With this development, I visited the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, where Dr. Saratu Dikko Audu, the chairman of the commission, responded to some of these allegations.
In the last two local government councils elections in Kaduna, the governor has not perpetrated any kind of fraud. The election has been free, fair, credible, and very acceptable to the masses of Kaduna. So I don't know, that certainly does not apply to Kaduna.
So much speculation from the public view that only a card-carrying member of a ruling political party can be a staff of the commission.
Normally, positions are given to influence the election when it comes to SICOM, because conducting election. If they bring neutral people, they know that they are going to neutralize the election in a way that it will be very perfect. So as a result of that, they prefer to use members of their party. That is, the state government prefer to use members of their party so that they can influence any type of manipulation to enable their own party, which may be the ruling party at that time, to actually withhold all the elections in the state.
They are card-carrying members of the ruling party. And this is being done even by any party that is the ruling government. All over, they use that position to perpetrate fraud and claim victory for their party in local government elections.
However, it is also believed that the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission has set a new standard in conducting election into the local government level, which other states can emulate from.
Okay, the standard I had mentioned earlier is in the use of electronic voting. But if you voted in the last local government council's election, you would have used the electronic voting machine. That machine captures the vote of the voter and it records it. The voter sees what he has voted for, and a tally, a receipt of that vote is dropped into the ballot box. At the end of the election, the summary of results for that machine is printed by the machine. So every vote that was captured on the machine is summarized and printed.
Some critics are of the opinion that the newly introduced electronic voting machine has not been properly used to add value to the electoral process.
Because we had problem even during the local government elections. I personally went round. They were not working. We have to insist that they must work because we must vote. So the perfection is not, there's nothing like perfection. There's nothing like perfection there. And they wanted to use it as a fraud to deprive other parties from participating and winning elections. But we insisted it's not possible. How many times? We carried some back 3 times before we could get the one that we are working. And we stayed very long and late for such result to be put together.
We're learning, we're listening. Listening is learning, investigation is research, and it brings about knowledge. And now we have learned, we're better informed, and we're going to talk with our guests about some of the issues we're learning. Honorable Muazu Hamidu Jantabo is the Executive Chairman of Lapai Local Government Area, Niger State, and the Secretary of the Association of Local Governments of Niger State, Algon. It's great to have you on Weekend Deal.
I'm happy to be here. Good morning, viewers.
Great. We're talking about INEC, elections, free and fair. Yes. And based on what we're hearing now, which is new knowledge for many of us, yes, we're asking, in Niger, where you have come from, is it free and fair over there? Talking of elections, people use their positions to impact the result for their own good?
Thank you very much. Yes, we cannot completely rule out interference from maybe government establishments and government personalities, but to be fair to the system that we have, or the leadership that we have today in Niger State, I think relatively elections are conducted in Niger in a free and fair manner. And at least I can attest to that. Considering my own personal experience, being not too hold into the system, we are in about 2-3 years ago, we were considered as newcomers into the system, and I think with the level of
awareness
now, so we're at least we're able to
you emerged, and of course you emerged in a free and fair manner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. We say kudos to you. What are the major issues you would say that delays, distracts from good governance at the local government level? What would you say?
Well, local government, as it were, are supposed to be nexus, that connects the people from the grassroots to assess governance generally. But You know, our circumstances are different. You know, we had a guest here who spoke about the level of performance, you know, at within the FCT. You know, unfortunately, it's a different case with us at the state level. Yes, ordinarily funds that are supposed to come to local government hardly comes, you know, the way it ought to. And like in Niger State, I will give you one clear example. For the past 2 or 3 years, we've been even struggling to pay salaries. And this is as a result of unnecessary influences here and there. To be fair to the governor.
Trying to pay salaries for your local government staff?
Yes.
Okay.
Payment of salaries to local government staff has been, you know, near impossible, I would say. Yeah.
But do they come to work? Because when there's nothing to do, people may not decide to come just end of the month for the salaries.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's one of the, you know, biggest challenge that we have. You know, our payrolls are over bloated, you know, and you hardly see people that commiserates with the records that you have on payroll. Yes, it has actually, that has been one of the factors.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. And in Niger State, we operate the joint account. You know, ordinarily funds
with the people,
with the state,
with the government, joint. So your money is there, domiciled there.
Yes, local
government. But it comes to you eventually.
It comes to local government eventually.
Complete.
Yes, complete. But there are other things that connect the local government and the state, and unless we're able to address that, we'll continue to have this kind. You know, we'll be confronted by some of these challenges.
But who is going to address it?
Definitely the federal government. You know, since this administration 7 years ago, you know, there's been this clamor about local government autonomy and what have you, and I'm sorry, but the federal government has done, you know, little to actualize that. You know, because this is 7 years down the line. You know, by now, the federal government ought to have sign the local government autonomy bill into law. It was actually not, too much noise was actually made about it, but
it hasn't, you've not seen it, the reality has not come to be. We just heard somebody say that the people at the grassroots are not speaking as they ought. Because you have the knowledge, you have the information, and they feel the impact or not of what you ought to have provided for them. If what you promised them when you were coming on board is not being delivered, oughtn't they to utilize an avenue to speak and send their message across? And if you were to advise, what avenue can they utilize?
You know, the problem, it's a constitutional problem, I must say. And unless we're able to address that portion of the constitution, no matter the noise or how outspoken the people are from the grassroots, it won't solve the problem. And that is why I actually lay the blame on the federal government. If the current administration is really serious about local government autonomy, 7 years down the line, by now we should be talking about operational local government autonomy, not the rhetorics that we
have been hearing for a long time.
And I will give you specific examples. For instance, in my own local government, Lapai local government in Niger State, and to be fair to the governor in Niger State, since we came on board, there is no any sort of interference in terms of finances of the local government. But there are certain arrangements that needs to be reviewed, and unless we're able to review some of those things, I'm sorry, in this country we operate laws that are 20, 30, 40, 50 years old.
Okay.
You know, and this is areas where we need to sit down and have constant
when
review.
They are fine-tuned,
exactly,
you can make an impact.
You can make an impact, and I'll give you specific examples. For instance, we have a state university in Niger State that is jointly funded between the state and local governments. Ordinarily, I should have the liberty to decide whether I am ready or I have the financial muscle to finance state university. And, state laws, the state assembly comes up with laws under maybe directive, mere directives from the governors to enact laws that will be detrimental to the growth of local
government areas.
Because yes, the law that establishes the state-owned university that we have today actually compelled the 25 local governments that we have to contribute. And considering
sometimes it's challenging.
Sometimes it's challenging.
Yes. To do so.
And there are many other
laws like that can be tweaked, and that can happen when there's a synergy or a stronger synergy. Because you said there's already one.
Absolutely.
But let's look at another aspect of grassroots politics. There seem to be so many areas. From what we hear now, it may not be encouraging to have those who have the experience, or those who have the funding, or those who have the wherewithal, we call them elites in many cases, to want to participate in grassroots democracies in terms of holding positions, because they might not have the leeway that they require. Do you have people with experience and wherewithal delving into local government politics with the view of making impact? And how would you advise if they were to come in so that people will have room? But when you were coming in, you knew what was on ground.
Exactly. Yes, I think that is changing with time now. In the past, local governments were reduced into like a reward system for political followers, irrespective of their knowledge, irrespective of their understanding of governance generally. The elite will just pick people that they see as political followers and just reward them by just
the local government helmsman position.
Exactly. And with time, I think that is changing. Yeah.
So who do you credit this change? The people of the government?
No, absolutely the people. And I said earlier that the government has not been able to fulfill its own part of the responsibility. Yes, the people are now reawakening, but the government is slow in terms of the reform process. And unless we're able to address this issue of local government autonomy, that will now make it attractive for more people
to come in. And this is one such a platform where the word is spreading. But we still believe that the people who have brought the change that has brought you in, is allowing you to speak up, can still do a bit more peaceably. And who knows? Who knows, really? Because if we keep talking, people will keep listening.
As a matter of fact, from the part of the people, that has been ongoing. And it's, it's
never
growing.
relented.
Exactly. It's growing by the day. Yes.
Okay, as Secretary of Algon, what are the members saying about this issue of the joint account? And we do hear about the new regime of a financial intelligence unit. Is that having a positive impact?
To an extent, but then we need to do more. Because if...
But tell us about the positives, if there are any.
Well, at least it enhances, the level of accountability at the local government level. But I think that is just a tip of the challenges that confront local governments generally. I would expect that the government will address this issue of local government autonomy head-on.
But how is the government to be aware? You are the one who knows your challenges. If you don't share them with those who can bring about the change, how will they bring about the change?
No, we've done that. But unfortunately, we have a system, in the country where governors, I'm sorry to say, but are too powerful. They've been given too much powers, and most governors will rather hold on to the control. We have few.
It's convenient for them.
It's very convenient. They could, that gives them the leverage to really
do and undo.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we have just few of them that are willing, to let go
of the power. Are you of the opinion that local governments should have autonomy, full autonomy? If they are given, can they be held accountable from what we see?
Yes. You just mentioned the financial intelligence the policy that
so it's checkmating excesses.
Exactly. But it's beyond that. And unless the local governments are able to have not just financial autonomy, because it's not just about financial autonomy. And I will give you one clear example. Even if you give me money directly from FAC, and then I'm compelled to contribute to SUBEB. That's the universal basic education at the state level.
The laws compel you.
Yes. Most of the laws, that governs activities of the local governments in Nigeria today are compelling. the local governments, considering their peculiarity, should be given that liberty to decide on what
they can impact. Okay, but let's talk about these compelling laws. Are they detracting from your focus of impacting the people at the grassroots? Is SUBEB another example? Are they not going to touch the lives of your people?
Well, I let me state clearly here that most of the laws that establish agencies like SUBEB have actually outlived their relevance. Yes, exactly. Yes, I would agree that 10-15 years ago it was necessary that SUBEB was actually put in place. But today, because what is happening is, by the day, the federal government continue to come up with policies and programs that continue to shred the local government administration generally. There was establishment of SUBEB, then another establishment of a primary healthcare agency. With time.
But are you saying that is a deliberate plan to impoverish the local government?
No, I wouldn't say it's deliberate, but these things are not well
systematically
taught. They are not well taught, and it has to do with lack of foresight, I would say. Yes, in Nigeria, we are always quick at rushing into coming up with laws, especially when we sense or we smell interventions from international donors. Okay. They are the responsible, they are the ones pushing us.
So we can receive them.
We can receive, and most of these donations are one-off. The World Banks, exactly, the World Banks and what have you, they come up and they give you their own checklist to meet, and they give you intervention, one-off intervention, and they end up creating 20, 30 or even lifelong problems.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes, unless we're able to really look at the benefits, we need to do comparatively
into what exists.
If, for instance, the World Bank is trying to, or if there is any aid
to round up here. Let this be your final words. Finish a sentence.
Well, it is very important that we start doing comparative analysis in terms of the aids that is coming into the local government and the kind of burden that such aids will create
displacing on the local government areas. Thank you very much, Honorable Muazu Hamidu Jantabo, Executive Chairman of Lapai Local Government Area, Niger State, and the Secretary, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria. Very interesting conversation. Watch us again tomorrow morning, bright and early on Weekendo. We continue our conversation, entrenching democracy at the grassroots. Bye-bye for now.